Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co host, Brian,
It's fine, everybody.
and guest of the show, friend of the show, host of the Strat Chat podcast, our friend Kyle Petty.
Hello, hello.
Guys, we made it.
We did.
UK Traitors Series 2 finale. A little bit of an extended episode, almost like 70 minutes or so. So we got a lot here in the finale, guys. Full spoilers off the top. We're going to go right into the results. We're going to jump just into our instant reactions of the finale. So you've been warned if you haven't watched yet. Harry did it, guys. Harry did it.
I did it.
Like Kyle said pre-show, it's never clean in the Traitors to get to the end, but Harry, frankly, I mean, I can't think of someone who played a better game on any of the seasons I've seen so far, from beginning to end, coast to coast traitor. A lot of people in and out. He was under fire a few times, especially this episode. We'll get into that. But I don't have any problems really with it. I think he played a clean game. In some ways, maybe it was a little boring, but I think the finale added some tension that I think we really needed for his season. So overall, thumbs up for me. Kyle, what'd you think?
Yeah, it's just not clean. Like you want to cheer it on because he did have a great game, but like it's like, oh, I look at poor Molly. I mean, like these people, they look just absolutely heartbroken. And it's hard to see. It's hard to watch, but he deserves it. Like you said, there's nobody else who does deserve it more, unless the faithful were going to split it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I would say the Jazz probably also played a great game. I mean, the dude was never wrong.
right.
So I was kind of hoping that he would actually win. I just like when Molly looked at Harry and was like, and she was like, "It's not me." I was like, "It's oh man, oh
It's like,
no."
yeah, yeah, that did it.
Yeah,
It's just like we saw with like Suri in US last year. I mean, it's just the people outside. It's just devastating, right? She wrote his name down. They did great editing showing that she wrote the H, looked up at him. Or is it you? He said, no, it's not. She freaks out, writes Jazz's name down. Jazz, yeah, I think agree, Brian. Probably second best player of the season outside of Harry. He was on the trail towards the end, though, a little bit. He kind of tapered off and went after a few other faithful the last few
mm,
weeks, as opposed to sticking on his Harry convictions, which in the end really was the kind of like the turning point of the season. Andrew, I think, was collateral damage. Andrew had some people suspicious of him. He played an overall okay game, but frankly, he was just very quiet the whole time.
yeah,
So
Mhm.
he didn't really make a lot of moves or anything besides getting recruited, basically.
That
yeah.
is
I'd
true.
agree with that. He's like a meat shield. I mean, he was.
He
It's true.
was.
Jazz just had such a rough go too, because anytime he tried to bring up Harry, there was always somebody in that conversation that absolutely shut it down. Like, was it Evie who was just like, why do we keep talking about him? We already know he's a faithful. Like, let's stop bringing him up. And it's
Yeah,
like, why aren't you even open to the
right.
conversation? Like, even if you don't believe it, like you gotta at least listen. Like, that's the game you're playing. Like,
Mhm.
just listen to people. That was
Like
frustrating.
there was just too many like in jazz, but like too many situations where Harry was involved, and like
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
how does that not raise red
Well,
flag?
his name was dropped, like you said, multiple times in the last few weeks. And again, everything going back to the person seeing him with the shield, and then with our boy, who was the redhead guy.
Paul,
Yeah, I mean, the Paul thing,
Cal's
that
friend,
Paul
Cal's best friend.
conversation is
Kyle's
very
fine.
implicating. It's a very random conversation with not a lot of implication on its own to be made up. And like you said,
Hmm.
Brian, it was just like completely blown off by everybody except
Yeah,
Jazz. And he even blew it off himself a little bit.
I
He's like,
know.
I just guess I'll wait to bring it up. And it's like, no, dude, you should be bringing that up the last 4 weeks. Like, just keep bringing, because you have no shot to win if that dude is a traitor. And we saw
Right.
that.
I
Right.
wonder if he ever had a conversation with like Molly or Evie, like one on one, to bring this up, and maybe we just didn't see it because maybe they just shut it down, and maybe the editing was like, oh, maybe there's hope when we're watching it as a viewer that maybe one of them will switch the last second, and
Right.
I don't know. It just yeah, I don't know. I just think it would have been cool. Like I'm fine with Harry winning. He played great, but I mean, I think it would have been even like really cool if Jazz was like the Sherlock Holmes of this whole season.
Mm-hmm. And I also don't know why people didn't like explore the whole Harry Shield situation a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like we've seen this before. Like, oh, you have the shield. Like there was a brief conversation like, well, maybe there was a recruitment. Could there have been a recruitment? And then that died really fast too.
Yep.
And it's like, what's happening? Like, why are we dropping any theory?
Another thing, man, I don't trust anybody in real life to begin with. Like, why is everyone so trustworthy of just random people on especially on a TV show? I
Right.
don't
Especially
understand
when
that.
you know that this is literally happening every single day. Like they're going to bet like this is a banishment and a murder every single day. So what trust did you really build up? This is like a
Yeah,
12
and
day
I'm not even
like
talking in real life. Like,
right. No,
like,
no, I hear you.
yeah, it's just
I feel
I
like
don't
I'm
know.
adding to that. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
it's even more preposterous,
right.
because you haven't even known. Like at least when you're playing like Survivor, like at least one of the international ones, it's longer than a month. You're having a lot more time together because there's nowhere else to go. Here, you've got your own room. Like no one's actually staying overnight. You're not having these big, deep conversations that really
Mhm.
connect you. So how can you be that trustful
Yeah,
in a week?
Especially, listen, I think Harry's a nice kid and all, but like, what about him made him immune from suspicion?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
A guy in the army, like who's an engineer, like 22, like that guy to me is like somebody I think would have some, mental fortitude to pull something off like this. Like, it took 6 episodes, 7 episodes for his name to even get mentioned. It wasn't
Mhm.
like it
Yeah.
was like, oh, his name wasn't even dropped until he was getting rid of our boy, which we appreciated. But like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like I don't
That end
know.
of it was frustrating.
I mean, it's kind of going on in the US. Like you need to explore all avenues, no matter what. Especially when
Yeah.
you know what the show is about. This isn't the first season. Like this is the second season.
Right.
Because I remember day one, they're like, "Oh, well, we thought people were going to go home when they did the lineup," and they're like, "No, this time." So you've obviously watched the show.
Yes, you are familiar with it. So this behavior is like
Yeah,
egregious.
you need to understand the source material.
Yes.
No, I mean, especially, I mean, there's like multiple, there's an Australian season, there was a
Mhm.
US season, there was a UK season. So like they had plenty of material to see what was going on here.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Um, would you guys say he is the best Traitors player ever?
So I've only seen 3 seasons now. I mean, yeah, I mean, if the people that I've seen win, I would put probably him then Saray.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he has to be up there, right? Because season one of UK certainly didn't end this way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
so I mean, there's that. Season one of Australia had an interesting end game as well. But I mean, without spoiling, well, who cares? I mean, it happened over a year ago. If you don't even watch it, that's
Yeah,
on you.
really.
Um, I mean, the traitor that won was a recruited traitor, and I sometimes think that they might have an easier road if like you were able to kind of stand on your convictions earlier in the game, and like people
Mhm.
really then they start to trust you.
Yeah,
If you flip over, they may not circle back and think you again.
that makes a lot
So,
of sense.
so do you necessarily get to say that they played a better game or as good as somebody who's a traitor from the beginning? I guess you kind of can't, but some cutthroat things did happen there. There was good gameplay, but
I thought it
yeah,
was a good season. I like
Yeah,
the
me too.
format.
super fun.
I like the format. I like it being 3 days a week to 3 weeks. I think it's perfect. I wish US now was doing that, frankly, the
Yeah,
way we're
yeah.
covering US, but we'll take it out as it is. So we'll be here obviously for every Traders episode season, at least US, UK. I think there's an Australia season literally starting today. So
Oh, really?
I swear to God, I think they read that. So I got to look on the flyer and see. So
Watch
That's
that before
wild.
bed, Kyle.
No way.
no, he's like, nope, brain
I'm not even
turned
going to
off.
be up for another hour.
Um, guys, any final thoughts on this series of the Traders?
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed it. I mean, I
Yeah.
think right now, I think I have it higher than US, like the ongoing season.
Think they're neck and neck. It
Ooh,
well, it's so hard to say because it's a little bit early in
Yeah,
ours still. So like you
yeah.
have to kind of see how some of these things flesh out. I mean, but like now that Kate is back and like I don't know, there's some exciting things. Like, no, it's gonna
yeah.
get real fun. So
Do you want Dan to go? I want Dan to go so bad.
I want Dan out of here so bad. I'm so sick of
I
his
know he's a
smug
big brother
face.
boy, but
He is, but like I'm so
he
sick of his smug
stinks.
face. He
Sick
just
of
thinks
his
he's so
smug
much
I know. I
face.
hate
smarter
that.
than everyone.
It's the
Yeah.
same with the guy last year. Like they're like, I'm going to be amazing at this game. I'm going to be so good at this game.
Yeah.
And sorry, you guys have stunk.
Right. I can't wait to see you fail.
So funny. So funny. Kyle, what's going on with the Strat Chat pod?
We are still carrying the torch on the Challenge 39 on Thursdays. Obviously, we're doing our own Traders US Thursdays as well, always live, Challenge at 8 and Traders at 10:15. And we're still trying to figure out what we are doing about the Australian Survivor because that now starts Monday. Okay, so
Coming in hot.
And how many days a week is that?
I don't know yet. I know
What
last
channel
year
is
it
that
was on
on?
at least Channel 10.
So they have a streaming
That might
service.
be a no for me,
Mhm.
dog.
Oof.
Just because of how much stuff we're watching, it just might be a no for me.
Yeah, you do. You have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Bachelor on Mondays,
Yeah.
which is tough. It's always 2 hours, never an hour.
Yeah. Always 2 hours. Love Island. Yeah. Just, I think it's a no for me, dog. I mean,
Figure it
if
out.
Brett covers it, I'll watch it. But if no one covers it, I probably won't watch it.
Yeah, I have to see how I feel about when I watch episode one. Episode one will kind of decide it for me, probably, because I know it'll be multiple days a week and stuff. So
Yeah, it's a lot.
doing a lot of drywall next week though. So maybe if all the episodes are like dropped on maybe Australian traders, I'll like binge that or something. We'll get like I'll do some quick videos or something. We'll figure it out. We get the coverage. Lots of shows, everything from Vanderpump to The Bachelor, Love is Blind, all the traders. What else we got? What else
We
we
did the
doing?
trust.
The trust just finished up. We have a lot of those interviews dropping throughout this weekend, so look out for those. We also reviewed every week of the show. I mentioned Love is Blind. We were talking Australian Survivor. Regular Survivor comes back next month. The Amazing Race in March. Love is Blind season 6 on Valentine's Day. Farmer Wants a Wife season 2 on February 1st. So lots of stuff, and we will be there for it. But for myself, Brian, Kyle, everyone at the reality guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace.